So this will be the last in the part of cholesterol. The biggest question I usually hear from people is, how do I lower my cholesterol, doc? And we're going to cover a ton of different ways to lower your cholesterol. First and foremost is soluble fiber. This may help you reduce cholesterol by grabbing cholesterol and escorting it through your digestive system. It's a binding agent, so if you don't have a huge, rich, fatty diet, but you've got a lot of soluble fiber, it will reduce your LDL by 3 to 5%. And the more fiber you have, the more it reduces your cholesterol. So that's, pretty simple, pretty easy. There's, on my video, how to lose weight without exercise, the last 2 minutes talks about how we can change our diet, and it talks about the number of points for fiber. So if you want to get into that, just skip to the last 2 minutes of that video. But you can eat things like lentils, Brussels sprouts, peas, beans, blackberries, raisins, oranges, grapefruit, figs, prunes, apricots, and the list goes on. Another thing you can do is you can take niacin, vitamin B3, and it will drop your LDL and raise your HDL. So it's easy, relatively cheap. You want 1,000 milligrams a day, split in half. Niacinamide's a slow release, non-flushing vitamin B3, so people take that. Watch your snacks. If you're gonna snack and you want to know more about weight, just shoot me an email. But if you're gonna snack, snack smart. So have some carrots, have some dried fruit, have some fresh fruits, have something besides all of the chips and the candy bars. Take food with you, but just don't be at the disposal of what's convenient, because that's what's high in the trans fats and the saturated fats. Take nuts. They store for a long time. They're easy. They'll lower your heart risk. They're full of things that are great for our brain. They're not well known for gaining a ton of weight. So nuts are easy, relatively cheap, long storage. Avoid trans fats. According to the Institute of Medicine, Food and Nutrition Board, there are no redeeming qualities of trans fats, no safe levels. The only way it says 0 on the package is they manipulated the quantity per serving size. So you'll have seen serving sizes changes when it says 0 trans fats on the package, or they just worded it into a trans ester esterase. But just avoid things that you just commonly know aren't really grand for you, or at least reduce their quantities. Read labels carefully. Avoid foods that are prepared that list a ton of foods you don't know, or if they start with the following ingredients: meat fat, coconut or palm oil, cream, butter, eggs, hydrogenated anything, I don't care what the next word is, imitation this or that, imitation chocolate versus rich cocoa. Just if you don't know what you eat sparingly. Some people use supplements, so they'll use a multivitamin at 500 milligrams to make sure they've got their chromium and biotin and their lipoic acids. Canada and Europe both commonly use fish oil, specifically EPA and DHA, to reduce the improper levels of cholesterol and increase the HDL that you want. 3 grams a day is the recommended dosage. If you want to know about fish oils, shoot me an email. That's not suggesting you buy ours, but we'll tell you which ones are and aren't good. I even have some studies by CBS actually did a comparative review of what's markedly available a couple of years ago. You want 2,000 international units on a minimum of vitamin D. You'll see that changing to 3,000 soon, but make sure your vitamin D level is high, and if it's not, get it higher, because that'll help you reduce your cholesterol, because your body needs to use that to make it. A lot of people use red yeast rice, but they do have the same common side effects if you're not careful. But people are using 1,200 milligrams of red yeast rice twice a day. And then the last one I'm going to keep in here, and I don't want to take out, even though it's not popular to me, but it is popular on social media, is we're going to talk about drugs. Do I put this in here to scare you? No. Do I put it in here to advise you? Absolutely. Am I here to tell you to stop taking yours? Absolutely not. Let me say it again, not without talking to your doctor. You can't just jump on and off things and think they don't have consequences. So I'm not here to advocate don't taking them. I'm just advocating talking to your doctor and getting educated and making a better decision for yourself. The reason they're popular, they're quick, effective, easy, and people don't have to change their lives, so they're very popular. How big is the industry? Let's just give you an idea. The statin industry is about $35 billion a year, and the total NFL, that's all sales, parking, food, tickets, everything, is only $4 billion. So $35 billion versus 4. So that gives you the scope of how much money is at play here. The United States is less than 5% of the world's population, and we take over half of the statins in the world. So that kind of gives you a use rate of the United States. So what do statins do? They increase congestive heart failure. If you just go and look at the research, go to scholar.google.com and type it in, looking for the double-blinded medical journals. Increases diabetes, peripheral neuropathy, depletes heart enzymes, induces myopathies, which are muscle problems. The number of people who have sore muscles associated with statins is gargantuan. So if you got sore muscles and you're on a statin, read about it. Make a decision. Medline's a great place to go look into things. So the Journal of Current Oncology, so that's cancer for people who don't know what oncology means. 2008 April issue, volume 15, pages 76 and 77. It says, indeed, the analysis of large randomized statin trials demonstrates a highly significant inverse association between achieved LDL cholesterol levels and cancer. Period. That's what it says, and they are the Journal of Current Oncology. I did not write that, so don't get irritated with the message. Just telling you what's out there. Close inspection of statin trials reveals the specific populations at risk for the development of incidence of cancer with statin treatment. So they also cite the Journal of American College of Cardiology, 2007 July issue, volume 31, pages 409 to 418. They also talk about referencing the Molecular Cardiological Research Institute and Division of Cardiology, Department of Medicine at the Tufts in New England Medical Center and Tufts University School System. So, you know, these are renowned places that are talking about this. It says, we sought to assess the relationship between the magnitude of low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, lowering and rates of elevated liver enzymes and cancer. It says, however, the risk of cancer is significantly associated with lower achieved LDL levels. So, you know, just might want to keep that in your mind. Statin drugs have an effect called that. This is going to get a little complicated. Statin drugs affect something named nuclear factor kappa B, and that does something good. It regulates your immune system's response to cancer. So if you decrease that response rate, that's what allows you an increased risk to the cancer. A different doctor, Dr. Daniel Amen, he's the #1 for world imaging of the brain. He runs PET, positron emission. It's like an MRI, but it's for the brain. He has the most clinics around the United States, and he's #1 when he's called to court for brain technology. And he says you can't take a statin without taking 600 milligrams of CoQ10 and still have brain function. If you don't have one and you have the other, you don't have great function. So people can go argue with Daniel Amen. I just know he's a lot smarter about brain chemistry than I am. So I'm always interested to see what does this guy say, considering his position and what he knows in his daily research. People who take cholesterol often get people who take cholesterol-lowering drugs also get a lot of gallstones. So go look at the research on that. But there is a direct association. Does it save lives? It's an interesting theory. I'm not here to argue whether it does or doesn't. I don't want a slurry of emails on it, but there's a ton of research out there telling you the side effects of your choice versus other things you could do to negate that choice. So take a look at the research, look into it. Remember, it's easier to believe what you've been taught than it is to investigate the truth.